Hey there, welcome to the first day of the AI Ascension Masterclass. This is our once per year 3 day workshop, and this is going to be 3 days of action packed, in depth training focused around one of the biggest opportunities right now heading into 2025. Now, this is an opportunity that we've unlocked by simply investing our blood, sweat, and tears to master AI systems and processes to make it so much easier, so much faster to implement. And of course, beautifully simple. Now, over the next 3 days, we're diving into how this process will unlock the world of marketing for you, help you generate as many warm, ready to buy leads as you want for yourself or for your clients automatically. So, if you've been looking for a way to bring in clients and maybe you were worried about ad spend or you were looking at trying to get clients in that you don't have to have sales calls with, or maybe you're just looking for a way to consistently have clients coming in, this is your answer. Now, I'm also going to give you an offer that clients will pay you $10,000 for that can be delivered using AI. Nobody else that I know of has this capability. This means that all of the competition that you see out there, they're falling behind while you can accelerate ahead. Nobody else is capable of this. And finally, I'll show you how this process can build stacks of sticky, simple, monthly recurring revenue completely on autopilot, removing all the barriers and making it so simple for you. So any barrier that was in your way previously from stacking up monthly recurring revenue, we're going to knock it down today. This will give you an in-demand offer that people actually want right here, right now, heading into 2025. Now, there's a massive difference between an in-demand offer and something that is nice to have. When you get into an offer that people really have demand for, they need it, things just start to flow for you. It becomes magnetic, right? Things start to flow. It becomes much easier to get those clients, and you don't really have to struggle anymore. And the reality is, when you do have an in-demand offer, you know it. You know you have one because things become easy for you. So if you've ever experienced before struggling to get clients. Maybe you've had different offers and different services, and maybe you get a couple of clients here or there, but it never really seems to click. Or maybe you've got one or two clients, but you just don't know how to get more. It's because the offer you have isn't really in demand, or you need to sell to a warm audience. And it's a big problem because nobody knows how to do this. Well, again, this is your answer. This process is your answer. And again, we're going to make it so simple for you. Now, before we dive in, I mentioned that this was a once a year event. Last year, we had an action packed training about the same time of the year. And I wanted to show you some of the results following on from that training, from the process that I taught in that training, from people who took what I said and went all in on it, and they executed and they reaped the rewards. Now, first up, if you're familiar with our community, you've come across Mobin already. From this screenshot, what you can see is two $5,000 deals closed. And this is just one of the screenshots. He actually told me in one of the coaching calls that he used the systems and processes to generate the revenue to basically fulfill his dream, which was buying a house in Dubai. That's a pretty big landmark, right? But it's helped with results like this, and also pretty much help from results like this one as well. We made $55,000 in a single day, and I'm not missaying that, I'm not misspeaking here. $55,000 USD in a single day. And he said in his testimonial, his screenshot here, that he could have achieved 100,000 that day if he'd given payment plans or given more than just 48 hours to sign up. The reality is, this is transformation. If you take what we're doing in these workshops, if you're taking what we're doing in these in our posts and our trainings, everything can change. Everything can completely flip on its head, and it can be a completely different reality for you. You just have to take action. You just have to follow the systems and processes, not try to reinvent the wheel. Realize that we've done all the work for you. All you have to do is follow the roadmap. And I mean, imagine that $55,000 in a single day of sales. That is revolutionary. Then you've got Trey, who took the process and closed a $7,500 deal. And he did it after just three sales calls, as in three prospects booked into his calendar. Within three calls, he closed a $7,500 deal. No experience in this industry at all. That's the reality. There's no experience. These are not people that have had tons and tons of experience leading up to this point. These are people that don't have the experience, and they just follow the process to the letter. And Trey didn't leave it there either. You can see that just before Christmas, he closed another $3,500 deal. There's another $5,000 deal on top of that too. And then, of course, rounded it all off with two more $5,000 deals and officially hitting the 20 or above the $20,000 per month mark. That was so fast. That was within about 4 to 6 weeks of actually launching the systems. Look at what can happen, right? And he's not alone in this process. This is all because they take action, because they follow the process. And like I said, it's not about experience. It's not about coming in and having a bunch of clients already lined up. This is from complete scratch. Yet all they do is they follow the process. They just follow exactly what we say to do, and look what happens. These numbers that they've never seen before, that they never closed clients with those types of levels, or in this case, closed clients at all in this industry. And now they're closing $10,000 worth of deals in very short notice, and then hitting that $20,000 a month mark in their first 46 weeks. Now imagine how long most people usually take in the industry. If we zoom out a little bit and we look at that industry, how long people normally take to get one or two clients to get to the $5,000 mark, right? It takes them months to get there. Yet within our world, this can happen in the first 4 to 6 weeks. Or then you got Brian as well. He posted in the group and said after this event last year and what we told him to do, he had $20,500 paid up front, plus 3 more potential closes from calls from stragglers, and he's got commission deals on the back end of this too, completely starting from zero in his first month with this process, or the processes that we taught in that workshop last year. Again, just taking action. Imagine that first month, and they're hitting these types of numbers. Again, still not alone though. You've got Rajiv that brought in $25,000 worth of new business, or LJ who started from complete scratch, didn't even like sales calls, at $2,500 deals closing back to back. That's the difference. How long it normally takes people in most different programs or different things you see out there to bring in clients consistently. Yet look at the ascension path here. And again, we've also got Lee, who have all probably seen in the group. He followed the same process that everybody else followed, following on from the same process I taught last year. Look at these results here. This was in the first month of running the system. $6,000 deal, $4,000 deal, and the last one there, or the third one there, is about, I think it was about 3,000. I can't quite recall the exact number, but all we do know is that within the first month he hit $20,000 because he closed another deal just after that. $20,000 in his first 31 days of launching the campaigns. An incredible achievement, fantastic. But as you can see, these are not just one-offs. This happens quite consistently. Now, simple execution is what this is all about. What I'm about to show you is one of the biggest opportunities out there, and it's just so simple to execute on. And I show you those results and those outcomes to show you it's possible. It doesn't take stacks of experience. You just need to follow a simple system and follow it to the letter. That's the difference. This is designed to motivate you and inspire you to take action and go forwards full speed ahead, and understand that what we're showing you in these masterclasses, these workshops, it's not things that are just good ideas. They actually work. They actually work really well. So take the bull by the horns and really execute on these processes. This process completely removes the need for case studies, testimonials, reviews. We provide prospects with the extreme experiential proof. This is the most powerful type of case study there is. Imagine the reality of being able to prove to a prospect that the system works because they lived it, they experienced it. And I've spoken about this before, but this is going to put a little bit of a different spin on this as well. And imagine the power, imagine that light bulb moment when that prospect comes in and all of a sudden they see it right in front of themselves. What happened? How did they get into your calendar? How did they end up paying you money? Well, it's the same process you implement for them into their business. And again, I've said this before, but this is a slight different spin on it. It's going to take it to that next level. So stay dialed in. Things are about to be shaken up a little bit. Now, your leads will actually experience the system in real time. This means they buy in because they live it. They breathe it, they see it in action, and they see how they ended up in a position where they're about to pay you money. And imagine how powerful a close it is, where it's a case of, well, that experience you just had, that process you just went through to get you in a position where you're considering setting up and investing in your business here. We do the same thing in your business. Imagine speaking to a prospect, and instead of any questions as to whether the process works, you can simply ask them, how did you end up in my world? How did you end up speaking to me? This is one of the secrets. The process you use for your own lead generation to build up your own sticky monthly recurring revenue, to close your own $7,500 or $10,000 deals is the exact same process that you can deliver and install into the client's business. This transforms everything. Gone are the days where you maybe had to look at different services. Maybe you implemented SEO into businesses and you tried to get clients for SEO, but you tried to do this using different lead generation methods, never using SEO to bring in SEO clients. So you could never use that angle. You could never say to them, well, yeah, how did you came in, you found me through organic search. That doesn't often happen, right? That's the difference. You're always having to find a different angle, whereas the angle is natural. They come in and it's a case of, like, how did you book the call? Yes, we implement the exact same system into your business. It's the same thing. It's incredibly powerful. Yet, because of AI, we can make this so simple. We can take all of the pain away. We can make it incredibly simple to bring clients in at a break even without you having to do the traditional work, the work that I had to do when I first started, which was hours and hours and hours of creation. You can create the same thing in a week simply because of AI. And it's not just generic AI. It's not just asking AI to create something for you. No, this is powerful. This is taking it to the next level. This is creating quality, creating a legacy for yourself. That's the difference. You can ask yourself, have you ever felt like an imposter because you don't have the experience? Right? Have you ever felt like that? Ever felt you've been on a sales call where you're trying to sell a service and somehow or other, maybe it was a referral, maybe it was through email, or maybe it was through LinkedIn, or whatever the lead generation method was. Have you ever been on that sales call and you felt like you're trying to sell them something that you don't really know because that's not how you did it, but this is the service that you have to sell? Have you ever felt like that? Makes you feel like a bit of an imposter, right? If you're trying to sell that service, but you don't actually use that service, it doesn't feel too great. But the problem is, how do you get started? How do you actually do that? Because without bringing that first client in, you're never going to build up that experience to feel confident, to feel secure, to feel like you know what you're doing. So it's a double-edged sword, right? It's a conundrum. How do you do it? How do you build up that experience? How do you get that experience? How do you get decades worth of experience, basically, into your world? We're giving you experience on a plate here, right? That's the difference. We can give you that experience. We can make it as such that you don't need the massive amounts of experience, or you don't have to think about how do I get that first client, or you don't have to think about, well, I haven't done this before and I'm trying to sell it, I'm not feeling good about it. What if we could take all of that away, all those concerns? What if we could take away the concern where you're not too sure if it's going to work for a client, and they start asking you for case studies or testimonials or reviews or a demo or a slide deck or presentation or all of the above things, right? Imagine they didn't even ask that question because it just clicked instantly that it worked. And what if you could speak confidently about it, because that's exactly how you brought that client into your world? What if we could take it all away? Now, what we are about to go through will change everything. But you need to focus in. You want to block out any distractions, and you have to stay with me here, right? We're going to have 3 sessions over the next today, tomorrow, and the next day, including this one, over 3 days to ensure. And we want to make sure you stay fresh, you stay alert, because it is about to change everything. I need you fresh. I need you alert. I need you dialed into this world. I need you to take some time out and really digest what we're doing here, because honestly, I've shown you the results previously as to what happened last year when we ran this workshop. It changed everything for people. That can be you. You just have to commit to it, and you have to follow it, and you have to make sure you're not adding different things or trying different angles. Just follow the blueprint. A to Z. Everybody always wants our roadmap and they always want our blueprint, but we're giving it to you. I'm giving you that blueprint. All you have to do is follow it. Now, right now, as we progress into 2025, the world of online education is absolutely booming. It's on the way up, and honestly, you need to catch that wave, right? You've got to jump on this because what's the point in trying to work with companies and businesses that are on the way down, right? They're going to be struggling. Why would you put yourself into that boat? Why would you not put yourself on a boat that's moving really quickly? That's the secret. It's a lot to do with your market. You have to choose the right markets. And if you're in a market where everything is moving at tidal wave speed, progressing and developing, and people are trying different things, and the money is flowing, the money's going to flow to you. That's the difference. Don't try to extract money from markets where the money isn't flowing. Go to the markets where it is flowing. Now, the online education industry is estimated to hit $185 billion in 2024. 185 billion with a B is crazy, right? And then it's forecasted by 2029 to hit $279 billion. Huge. That's not quite doubling, but not far off it, not a million miles away from doubling in the next 4 years. That's a fantastic growth. That's crazy, right? So imagine all these industries that are on the way down, they're on the decline, and then you've got one that's almost doubling in the next 4 years. Which one, where's the money going to be, right? You've got to put yourself in the one that's almost doubling. Now, the e-learning space as a whole, so this is going from online education and then into e-learning, is currently worth over 400 billion and is rapidly growing at 14% per year. These are rapidly growing markets, right? You can't miss this. Don't make life hard for yourself. Make it easy. Go where the money is. Allow it to flow to you. The money's already flowing. We've just got to park you in a place where it flows to you as well. It's as simple as that. Now, have you ever felt like other people seem to bring in clients and they seem to make more money so much more easily than you can? You struggle to sell your services, trying to find clients, yet others make it look so easy. Why is that? It's not fair, right? Why is that? Why is it when people launch businesses, you see them rapidly get to $20,000 a month, whereas you've been struggling for years to hit that level? Why is that? What's the difference between you and them? There isn't a difference between you personally. I can really tell you what the main difference is. The answer is because they're in the right boat. You can spend years trying to sell SEO, feeling stuck, and then flip and make $20,000 in your first month, a milestone you've been trying to hit. That's the difference. When you make that flip, everything starts to change. And you might think, well, what if I just persevere with what I'm doing? You can do that. Absolutely. And probably you get there eventually. Absolutely. But the reality is sometimes it's not about stopping what you're doing. Sometimes it's about realizing how to optimize what you're doing and get in that fast flowing vehicle or that fast flowing river. That's the beauty of it. So make sure you're positioned in the right markets. I've shown you the data here in some markets. I'm going to show you some other opportunities as well, but as we go through over the 3 days. But the reality is, this is booming. The money is flowing. The money is flowing in quite a big fashion as well. There's no point missing out on that, right? If you want to hit 20, 40, 50, 100,000 per month, go where the money flows. It will be so much easier. And you can become one of those case studies, one of those success stories, simply because you saw the opportunity. And we always say that smart people can spot the opportunity. You see the opportunity, you see it right in front of you, and you think, you know what? I'm going to follow the blueprint that allows me to attack that opportunity. And then if I want to do something else, follow my passion or whatever it might be, you can do that. But at least you've got money in your pocket to then do whatever you want with, right? That's the reality. You don't have to struggle. You just have to make the decisions that get you in the right boat. Now, you can see the boom of platforms like School, right? Unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen Alex Hormozi's ads, the ones with ducks in them and all that kind of stuff. They're pretty good. But the reality is everybody has probably heard of this platform by now. Now, there's a reason these platforms boom so quickly. The industry's pushing it. You've got Kajabi, you've got Teachable, you've got Mighty Networks, and there's so much more. Go High Level are also introducing or pushing harder on their membership sites. The industry is pushing it. Then you've got the cost of living increases, the rapid inflation, the rise in interest rates without salary increases, and things just become harder and harder and harder for people, right? So we've got the boom of these platforms, and we've got on the real world side, the off let's say off the computer, the non-digital side, cost of living increases. Things becoming very, very expensive, right? So what does that lead to? What does that tell us? And what does that actually mean? Well, this means that more and more people gravitate towards making money online and from home. Well, instead of joining the group of people that are trying to do this by using the platforms, why don't you see where they're all going and then go where that money's actually flowing already, right? Those providing this huge group of people the solution to their problems, that's where the money actually is. It's already flowing. Mass amounts of people that's growing every day because the need is growing are paying these companies money to really be able to transform their lives, right? They're, to be able to make money online, have a side income, a side hustle, passive income, whatever it might be. They're paying these companies money to do it. And you can be in a boat where instead of trying to convince these people to do something, you can just work in a pocket that already has the demand. These platforms already have the demand. I'm not telling you to go work with school. We're looking at this slightly differently. But what I'm telling you is they're doing all the they're dealing with the people who are problem unaware or are in the problem aware states, and they're pushing them towards those that are more solution aware. You can This pocket has now become so big, so large, that you can go into this space and you can just crush it because you've got the solution to all of their problems. And if you don't, after this workshop, you're going to have it. Now, let's take a look at school, for example. There's a huge opportunity here. And I'm going to, over the next few days, dive into a few more opportunities and show you how they work. But really, I want to tackle this one quickly just to give you a little taste as to the opportunity that's on the table here. As I said, we'll dive more into this tomorrow. But there are thousands and thousands of creators on that platform now. Yet, it isn't actually set up to bring in customers. These community owners don't know how to bring students in. Yet, after this training, you will know how to bring students in. Now, I'll let you in on a little secret here. A secret that people don't want you to know. If you've come across the school platform and you've maybe had a look at it or had a look around, or you've been on the platform, you come across something called the school games. Now, the school games is essentially a competition for those who can build up the most monthly recurring revenue as fast as possible. But there's something they don't tell you. That's all well and good. The numbers are crazy. It's just fantastic. But the winners of those games, the ones at the top of the leaderboards, the majority of them had existing followings and an email list. They already had achieved those results. All they did was switch the platform. They didn't actually generate their sales on the platform. They just switched the platform. I've seen people run offers where they've just incentivized with maybe a discount or maybe some bonuses. They've incentivized their existing people, their existing subscribers, just to switch over to school. That doesn't really seem too fair. And then they win the prize, right? They win the games. They get to go out, fly out to Las Vegas and hang out with Alex Hormozi and Sam Evans and Layla Hormozi. It doesn't really seem too fair, that, right? But nobody tells you that. You have to be able to spot that through experience. And that's the reality. So this facade is that all these people are getting tons and tons of clients is so easy. But I can tell you there are thousands of people that are getting no clients. And even these top creators don't know how to do it properly. They just know how to make that number look good. But then they become stuck. The biggest problem with school isn't engagement, which is actually a massive problem. People don't engage on the platform at all. It's customer acquisition. And I'm going to show you the numbers behind this, but you're going to see just how big of a gold mine you're currently sitting on. And that's just one small aspect of it. I told you I'm going to share more markets and more angles with you over the next few days. This is just a tiny drop in the ocean, but we're all familiar with school, right? We're all kind of probably seen it out there. And you can look at that platform and think, oh, well, it looks good. What if I could create a community? Well, what if you just work with the community creators that need the services that you're going to be able to provide or need the lead generation aspects that you can provide? That's the beauty of it. This is a gold mine. Then you've got the info products and the coaching space. They all compete for the same clients going around in circles. They need appointment setters and they try to force cold sales. Now, what these people typically do is they will run promotions and run funnels and things just to some kind of training, which is fine, no problems with that. They'll get their calls booked in the calendar, and that's fine. But really, if they don't have, they try to use appointment setters as their traffic source, right? Or they try to use their appointment setters as their sales funnel instead of actually having a real sales funnel. They use that appointment setter to convince the person into booking a call. Now, the problem actually lies in that person wasn't intending on booking a call. They've basically been forced into it, and that's not really a good position to have any sales call in when the prospect doesn't really know why they're coming on the call. Or maybe they've used the asset holdback strategy where they are offering some kind of document, but they've got to get on a call to get the document or something like this, right? They're just digging into their problems a little bit and trying to force them into a call. Now, there's a breakdown in priorities. Appointment setters are typically paid maybe a little commission on deals closed, but oftentimes they're paid the base rates and they're paid per meeting booked. So, or they've got a quota they've got to hit for that month, and then they'll get commission on the sales. One of these structures, but the difference is that appointment setter's goal is to get people onto the calendar. So they don't really care if they're qualified. They don't care if they're the right fit or they've got the money to invest in anything. They don't care. Then what happens is that call's passed through to a salesperson, and that salesperson is expecting a warm lead, as closers typically do, but they're getting these cold leads that aren't really qualified. So the closer gets frustrated that they're not closing sales. The appointment setter gets frustrated because none of their deals are closing, and it creates this mishmash of a terrible situation. And the business owner doesn't know what to do, and they're stuck. So they might have a little hot period at the start where everyone's motivated, but this is always the outcome. They go through this cycle where they've just got to rinse and repeat with different appointment setters, and it becomes very, very difficult, and their sales start to dry up. What if you could change all of this and have their customers coming in on autopilot, right, without any of it? What if you could do that? They need to make new sales every month or their revenue drops to zero. What if you could build sticky recurring revenue streams for them? Would they pay you for this? What if you could help them build up a pipeline of good fit clients that are warm and they don't need high pressure sales rather than battling with ice cold leads? Think they'd pay you to do it? Pretty sure they would, right? The way these business owners need to sell has completely changed. People want real connection. They don't want to simply buy whatever is put in front of them. They want community. They want trust and they want purpose. This is what you can provide to these business owners. They're struggling, right? Although the market is booming, they're struggling because when you're trying to sell, they often sell products for $5,000, $10,000, right? And when they do this during times of economic volatility or when markets start to tighten a little bit and money doesn't become quite as flush, and that decision to invest in something becomes a little more thought provoking. They ask more questions, they take more time to think about it, and that creates problems. So they're trying to push one way like they always have done. But these people are responding with, I don't trust it. They've seen it before, right? I don't trust you. What is it I'm not seeing? Because they're all taught the hardcore closing stuff and they push on the emotional side. There's no community, there's no trust, there's no purpose at all. Yet when you do give them this, when you can provide this and you do what I'm going to show you, this becomes pretty straightforward and simple. All of a sudden they go from struggling to get $5,000 to $10,000 deals paid to the deals flow to them, right? The deals start to just pop up out of nowhere. The closers start to close at a very high rate because they're working with warm leads. This process is going to help you build up your own bank of sticky monthly recurring revenue. So not only can you offer this as a service, but I want you to have that sticky monthly recurring revenue. I want you to have that repeat cash flow at the start or throughout every single month. I never want you to start from zero again. I don't want you having clients that churn and disappear. I want you to have this base of income that you can just rely on without having to worry about it. Then you can do other stuff. You can have a high ticket in demand service too, but really you've got a base of income that flows in every single month that you don't really have to worry about. And what that's going to do is that's going to free up your mind. You're going to be able to think about things. You're going to be able to look at things a little more seriously and without the intense pressure of having to make ends meet. You're going to have the freedom to think. And with that freedom, with that abundance sort of mindset, because everything's taken care of, you start to operate at a higher level. And all of a sudden, when you take yourself out of that fight or flight stress reaction, where you're no longer in that position, which I'm very familiar with, you start to think a little differently, more abundantly, more clearly, and money starts to flow to you much more actively. It's a strange dynamic, right? You may think, well, if I think about it more and I stress about it more, I'm going to make more money because I'm more focused. But no, it's repelling money when you're doing that. You're repelling the clients. You're repelling the deals. You need to basically be in a position where you don't care. But you can only do this if you know you've got monthly recurring revenue flowing in every month without fail. That's the only time you can do that. Now, you're going to have a high ticket in demand service as well that you can provide on top of that for between $7,500 to $10,000 with AI doing all the heavy lifting for you. Imagine that, right? A service that's worth that amount of money per client with AI taking care of most of the work. The world of finding new clients on autopilot at no cost becomes a reality for you. Now, I'm going to repeat that sentence. The world of finding new clients on autopilot at no cost, new clients, no cost, becomes a reality. The difference is in the simplicity. We've all experienced pain at some point. Running an offer that you get a few bites on, but it just doesn't really seem to start moving. This leaves you stuck in a cycle for months until you feel completely demotivated, completely demoralized, and it becomes a bit of a struggle for you. We've all been there, right? If it's you're trying to sell paid ad services, organic social media content creation, or maybe it's database reactivation, or whatever the service might be. We've all been there. We've all felt that demotivating feeling when it just feels like you're pushing water uphill all the time. Now, you will always know when your offer is in demand because the deals just start to flow to you. It feels like everything you touch turns into a new sale. Clients just seem to come towards you, and there's no real rhyme or reason for it in your mind, there isn't at least. It just seems to happen. And you can't put your finger on it, but you're not going to complain because it's good. It's a good thing. They're flowing to you. But the reality is, it's because your mindset changed, because you changed how you look at everything. And maybe you've experienced the feeling of having no leads in the calendar, always having to hustle and try different things to get a client or two. The same is true with clients that are out there. You know, any clients that you bring on or any business owner that you speak to, they feel the same way. They've experienced the feeling of having no leads or an empty calendar or just it feeling really dry or just cash flow is tight. So everybody has felt that feeling. We all feel the same way. Maybe yourself or maybe the business owner wants to run paid advertising, but the thought of ad spend feels terrifying. It feels overwhelming and it keeps them up at night because it can just get away from you. They know it's the answer. They know they've got to do it, but the inner thoughts, it holds them back. It holds them back tremendously. They want this. They know they have to do it. They know the answer is at the other end of running those paid ads, getting through those periods and having those clients book into their calendar automatically and pay them money. They know they've got to do it, but getting them to take that action can feel incredibly difficult. When that ad spend bills, or when you're running paid ads and you've got to close the deal on sales calls and you don't feel confident on sales calls. So you think if I spend on paid ads, then I'm going to be spending money, but I don't feel confident. I've got imposter syndrome. I don't feel confident closing deals. What do I do? Because I'm just going to burn money and lose money, and I'm not confident in my closing sale or my sales skills either. So what if I don't close those deals and I lose all that money? It's this cycle. So you gravitate towards other things. Shiny objects come around telling you to generate leads for using different organic methods that require no money. You gravitate towards them and you spin your wheels and it becomes really difficult and you become demoralized. That's the reality. That's what holds people back. And it might hold you back. Maybe it doesn't, but maybe it does. It might hold your clients back. It might hold future clients back. So many businesses feel this way. They want to do it, but they just can't get beyond this fear. But what if you can unlock it for them? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been on a call, or have you ever spoken with a client, or even thought about it, just generally speaking? Have you ever thought about where they would have asked you the question, how much do I have to spend? What's my monthly ad budget? What does that look like? And have you ever run ad campaigns for $5 per day where a client has insisted that's all they can spend? These are limiting beliefs. These are the problem. This is the issue when it comes to running those paid ads. They want to do it. That's why they're talking to someone. That's why social media marketing agencies and such exist, paid ads agencies, media buyers. They want to do it. They want the expertise, but they're terrified. And that's okay. It's natural. But what if you could unlock it for them? What if you could change everything for them? I remember feeling completely stuck. I was spinning in circles during the shutdowns. We probably all remember them of 2020. How can you forget? Because clients were unsettled, and you might have had clients then, or maybe you were trying to get clients and you were getting objections on the phone and they weren't closing. Clients were unsettled. They didn't know what was coming next. I was losing clients, not really sure where to turn. I mean, I remember my revenue was dropping really quickly, and I knew I had to market. I had clients that would basically tell me like they're not sure what's going to happen, so they're going to pause things, or they just weren't sure if they were going to get started because they didn't know what was going to happen in the market next. It was a scary situation. Maybe you felt that too. But I knew I had to market. I knew it was the one aspect that would unlock everything for my business. Yet, honestly, I was terrified. As my revenue dropped, the pressure stacked on, which made the decision to do it even harder with every passing week. So think about it. My revenue's dropping, but my answer is to run paid advertising and spend money. The more my revenue drops, the more the pressure builds to start running paid ads. But as that revenue drops, the scarier spending any money becomes. We've all been in that cycle before, right? Maybe it's not paid ads, maybe it's something else. But we've all been in that cycle where we know we have to do something, but the longer the time goes, the harder that decision becomes. But I knew deep down what I had to do, but it took me 2 months of torture, mental torture, to actually do it. Classic phrase, scared money doesn't make money. I buckled up, I launched an ad campaign. I never looked back. I started off at $50 per day, and I saw my money coming back to me. I cranked it more and more and more, and I closed $32,000 in new business in the first 5 weeks of launch, and I'd only spent $3,000. Had I not taken that leap based on my logic, who knows what would have happened. But there's a bit of a twist here. So I spent $3,000, and you think, well, that's bold. Spending $3,000 when you're not sure and your revenue is dropping. That's a little bit different, isn't it? So how did I achieve that? I used a ladder funnel. Now, if you're within the portal and you've seen the ladder funnel concept, you might be familiar with this funnel, and that's a good thing. However, this comes with a little bit of a huge twist. For anyone who doesn't know or wants a refresher, I'm going to quickly whip through what the ladder funnel is. But if you do know what it is, stay dialed in because it's maybe not quite what you expect. Now, the ladder funnel allows us to run paid advertising without having to worry about ad spend. Every day, the sales the funnel generates are paid back to you instantly. And our goal is if we spend $100 tomorrow, we make $100 back. It's very simple, right? Think about it. If you're able to spend $100, if I said to you, you can spend $100 in paid advertising to market tomorrow, and tomorrow that same $100 is going to be paid back to you, plus you're going to have 5 leads. It's a no-brainer at that point, right? You're not paying anything for it because it's a fast turnaround. You're not having to wait 30 days for the money to come back. It comes back the next day, or the same day rather. It makes that decision a lot easier. You just have to trust the process, and that's the one piece of trust you have to have, is in the process and the numbers and the logic behind it all. But we've got a lot of proof to back it up, and we can show you that proof and make you realize how you're in pretty secure hands. Now, the ladder funnel is made up of a simple $7 intro offer. It could be, we'll go through this, but it could be a small streamlined program. It's made up with a $27 order bump. This is super important. You've got to have the order bump in there. I've been asked before, do I need the order bump? The answer is a resounding yes. We've got to have that order bump in there because it makes the numbers so much easier. Then we've got a $97 per month offer in there, which is recurring, obviously. And again, super important, we've got to have that in there. And we've got a high ticket back end. Now, this is an optional component, but I would recommend having it in there if you want to go really fast because it can really, really spike your numbers to ridiculous levels. And I'm talking, from early stages, get into 30, 40, 50 and above simply because of this high ticket backend. It works beautifully. Now, I said earlier, you can spend $100 tomorrow on paid advertising and we can make $100 back. So why would we want this? Well, first of all, the ladder funnel has a recurring element in the middle of it. This means that you acquire monthly recurring revenue at no cost, and then month 2 is pure profit. This monthly recurring revenue stacks up like a snowball, building more and more each day. Now, really, in our numbers and our calculations for the ladder funnel, when we tell you it's being paid back the same day, we're not counting the recurring revenue. We're not counting any of that. We're only counting the money that comes back the same day, but that's going to make more sense in a few minutes. Now, the second reason we want to break even is this produces an internal warm audience for your business or your client's business at no cost. So you're essentially generating piping hot leads who are buyers, not just emails, but actually buyers. They've got their credit card out, they've transacted, they've invested this trust with you in your pipeline, coming into your world for free. Imagine any service that you run. You can use this for anything. Imagine any service you run where you can generate leads for free for it all day long. You don't have to market organically. You don't have to send content or create content. You don't have to send DMs. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can just market all day long, have the ad spend come back to you daily, and then work with warm leads and get them in for the high ticket service at no cost. It's beautiful. Now, these leads can be nurtured and they're going to ascend into a high ticket offer. The $7,500 sales are made with no acquisition cost. Most of the time, those in the info or the coaching space have to spend about $1,500 to acquire a $5,000 customer. If they don't close, they burn that ad spend, which stacks the pressure on and it eats into their margins. In fact, I actually saw a post recently about a guy in another group that he made $70,000, and I caught my, I thought, wow, that's a really good outcome. He'd spent $50,000 on ads to do it, $20,000 profit, but $70,000 worth of sales and customers and clients to fulfill for, which is very stressful. That's a lot of customers, a lot of clients, especially a high ticket space. That's a lot of clients, and he's got to fulfill for those, and he's only making $20,000. That's not really a good deal, if you ask me. I don't want that. I'd rather the other way around. I spent 20,000, made 70,000, right? We flip that entirely. Or I'd rather we just make 70,000 and not have to spend anything. It's a much better scenario. Now, I also want to flip the way he did this. He spent $50,000 on ads to do it, and then had the pressure, the huge pressure to close those deals. And if he hadn't, he's got $50,000 at risk here. But think about how many business owners are in that position. A lot. With this funnel system, we can solve that problem instantly, yet we can use AI to do it for us. The ladder funnel is made up with an intro product, an order bump, and a recurring upsell. You can have a downsell if you want to as well. It's not required, but you can have one if you want to. These products are typically streamlined digital programs sold on the front end, and the recurring offer is usually a software subscription like Go High Level. They're usually built around a topic that naturally ascends them into the high ticket product. So it has to be around the same topic where they're interested, they consume the content, and then they ascend into that higher end product. For example, you could sell a streamlined program showing business owners how to set up their own ladder funnel. So you can basically take this process, productize it, which we'll show you how to do, showing those business owners how to set up their own ladder funnel. And then your high ticket offer could be a done for you setup at $10,000. The business owner is interested. They buy the lower price product. They want to build it, but they want it done fast. They now trust you because they've transacted, they learned the process from you. So they come to you, they come forwards for your high ticket, done for you service. The latter funnel breaks even for you, meaning you can run ads without fear. You can run them all day long. Then you acquire software subscribers for free. You build your audience for free. Now, software subscribers, you're not paying anything to acquire them, but yet you're building monthly recurring revenue that stacks up and up and up and up. And also, you build that audience. When you build that audience, you've always got that audience. You can build trust for free. And then you can ascend them into your done for you service for free. A beautiful scenario, an incredibly powerful scenario. Imagine doing this for yourself. Imagine having clients coming in every single day. Imagine them ascending internally into your done for you service, whatever that may be. It could be anything, right? You could have any service. It doesn't matter if you run AI services with Go High Level. It doesn't matter if you run SEO, Facebook ads. It can be anything. But you've got your lead generation cracked. It works. It happens constantly. It's beautiful. Now, imagine then doing the same thing for your clients. Imagine you can say to them, look, your whatever service it is they have, imagine being able to bring leads in for that without having to pay for them every single day. Imagine not having to worry about your marketing. Imagine being able to be aggressive with your marketing and not even have to worry about it. It sounds great, right? The ideal world. So where does the problem lie? What's the issue with this? Why isn't everybody doing this? Well, creating these products becomes quite time consuming. You need the knowledge, right? If you're going to create the product, you've got to know what it's all about. If you're going to create a product for a client, you've got to know their business like the back of your hand. If you're going to create a process about your business or this process itself, you want to productize that, you'd either have to rewind 5 years to get that experience or consume hours and hours and hours and basically hundreds of hours of content to learn it. Which one are you going to choose? You're going to go back in time or are you going to spend 100 hours learning? Neither of them are very good solutions here, right? If you wanted to create these products for your client, you'd either have to tap into their brain somehow or watch hundreds of hours of their content. It creates a barrier which makes it hard to implement. Until now. Business owners love the idea of this. Why wouldn't they, right? They can run ads without worrying about it, without worrying about the cost. You probably love the idea of generating leads completely on autopilot without worrying about the cost as well. Imagine you could turn Facebook ads on tomorrow, market aggressively without actually having to worry about the money. Imagine the weight that lifts off your shoulders. Do you know how fast that can scale their business and also scale yours? Yet nobody could ever do it. Nobody could ever do it for the client especially because they couldn't create the content. You could create the content, but it would take you a bit of time. For the client, it becomes even harder. So this is an incredibly in-demand service, but it's hard to actually do it done for you, build out for a client themselves. It's the same thing with a sales funnel. You either had to outsource to a copywriter and pay them $5,000, which zaps your profit margin instantly, to write the copy, or you had to watch all of the client's content to get that messaging right. Not anymore. You can operate like a supercomputer that understands their entire business like it's been a fly on the wall for a decade. This is functional AI. This is AI that makes a difference. It's not just nice to have content creation like is out there already. This is powerful product creation that actually delivers. This is the next level. It's so simple, yet if you focus on this workshop, or if you don't focus on this workshop, you'll never know how to do it. You can use this process to build your own system, bringing in leads effortlessly, automatically, building your sticky monthly recurring revenue, and building an audience of piping hot leads that want a $7,500 offer. Most of the time, people struggle to sell a $500 per month offer, right? Never mind $7,500, but you can because this is something that's in demand. That's the difference. What you usually sell for 500 isn't really in demand. Or what if you just go to something that is in demand? You can also build this exact same system for a client. Better yet, you can use this system to bring in clients by teaching them this system and then offering to build it for them by using AI. This is powerful experiential proof. This makes selling any offer so much easier. all the problems you've had, all the problems you might have had previously in the agency space or trying to make money online or whatever it may be, they're gone. Problems with case studies, problems with experience, problem with processes, problems with getting clients, problems with having an offer, problem with charging enough and sales calls because you don't have the experience or the case studies, problems with marketing because you're worried about running paid ads. All of it's gone. Now, remember I mentioned earlier how it's important to have an offer that's in demand. And when you do have an offer that's in demand, the deals just sort of magnetically flow to you. Well, this is it. Have a look at these numbers, right? On the left-hand side here, you've got some product prices. This is for a ladder funnel. So you've got an intro product at $7. The conversion rate for your intro product is normally 10%. You have your order bump at $27. The conversion rate we experience with these are 50 to 80% actually, but market at 50. You've got your monthly recurring offer at $97, usually converts at 25%. And you've also got a $1 trial of the $97 per month offer that will convert at 50% of those who did not take the upgrade to the recurring offer. Then you've got your $7,500 service, your done for you service. That will typically convert at 2%. Your average cost per click is $3.50. And let's say you were spending $100. Sounds like an aggressive number, right? $100 per day on ads. Scary. Well, that equates to $3,000. If we look at this top column here, that brings in 86 intro product sales. Now, forgive me if I'm marginally off with these numbers on my screen when I'm presenting this. They're very small. They should appear large for you when you're watching it. So that produces $800 in revenue with an acquisition cost of $35. And it produces 43 order bump sales. The order bump revenue, the $27 product, produces $1,157, and your initial revenue is $1,757, and that's $600 in intro product sales. So your initial revenue on that front end, without considering the upsells, is $1,757. Then we look at your upsells. So inside that funnel, we've got your intro product page, you've got your order bump. After they purchase, it takes them to an upsell page. So it's live in this funnel. From that, based on our conversion rates, you make 21 sales, and that builds up $2,078 in additional revenue, which is monthly recurring revenue. And then from those who do not purchase the upsell, 32 of them come into the downsell for the $1 trial. Now, from the $1 trial, 50% of those who take the trial will actually convert into monthly recurring revenue sales. So that produces another $1,500 or so dollars. Now, that's your front end funnel. That is where we're running paid ads to it. They're coming through, going through that entire funnel. The same day that money comes back to you, that transaction happens, right? Then we look at the service upgrades. So this is the high ticket service. Now, 2% of them on average convert. So over the course of $3,000 in spend, it results in 1.71 sales. Obviously, as those numbers grow, it becomes even numbers. But from $3,000, it equates to 1.71 sales. That produces an additional $12,000 in revenue. $12,000. So your total campaign revenue is $18,000. Your overhead, the expense, was $3,000. But remember, there is no expense because the top part of the funnel fed it straight back to you daily. So in terms of your daily profit and loss, if we take out the high ticket service upgrades, just the second column or the second little section that says P&L direct, no high ticket. That's your direct funnel. Take the high ticket, strip that out. What does the funnel itself bring back on a daily basis? And from that, you can see it produces a profit. So you're not even at a break even. You're actually profiting in this example with standard conversion rates. We can I like to add a little bit of profit in there to allow us to give us a little bit of extra room, but we don't really need it. All I'm looking to do is be zero on that. From zero, I'm happy. If I make no money on that, I'm pretty happy because we're also building monthly recurring revenue in there. When we add the trials And then we also, the trial conversions, and we also add the monthly recurring revenue that came in through the upsell. That's an additional $3,500 in monthly recurring revenue that repeats month after month with usually about 5% churn, very low. So that just repeats over and over and over again. But then again, we add back in the high ticket. You made over $12,000 on high ticket. So what does your whole campaign look like? Excluding the monthly recurring revenue, you've brought in $18,000. You've made $15,000 in profit. $15,000 in profit in that first month. Then what happens is that monthly recurring revenue kicks in at 3,500 or so in month 2, maybe 3,000 in month 3, 2,800 month 4. And you can see how this one action, running it for 1 month, stacks up and feeds you profit over and over and over and over again. But then you don't stop there. You keep running the system on autopilot. You keep it running month 2. And then month 2 results. Month 2 is $3,500 monthly recurring revenue, stacks on top of month 1. Then month 3 stacks on month 2. And you can see how fast you can actually get to $5,000, $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue completely on autopilot without having to do any service delivery, completely pure profit. How fast that can happen. So you never have to start at zero again. And of course, then you have those high ticket cash injections with the high ticket sales. This is just a numbers game. That's all we're looking at here. It's just a numbers game. And these numbers on the left here, these product prices, they're pretty standard. But the conversion rates, those are not random numbers. Those are based on my numbers. They're based on our clients' numbers. These are tried and true numbers. These are hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars of ad spend run through these systems. And these are the average numbers that we come out with. So they're not exceptional numbers. They're the average case that we come out with in terms of our conversion rates. And because everything always remains the same, we know what to fix if there's ever an issue. If the number is slightly lower, we know how to fix it because it's always the same. You follow the same process over and over and over again. That's the beauty of it. So you can hopefully see how powerful this system is, how you make your profit. You want to break even. You want it just to be zero because then your high ticket sales, $12,000 in sales are pure profit. And then your monthly recurring revenue comes in the next month again, pure profit. And you make more high ticket sales and rinse and repeat over and over and over again. You can see how fast you can then get to, you're not going to get to 20, then 21, then 22,000 month after month. It's going to go to 20. It's going to go to 30, 50. It just multiplies because it compounds. And that's the secret of it. There's a compounding process with this. We all love compounding. And this is it in a marketing format. This is the beauty of what we're doing. So hopefully those numbers make complete sense and you can see exactly why you would do that. If there are questions on this, let me know. I'm happy to dive in and explain different things on the spreadsheet or show you different, because this is a dynamic spreadsheet. I can show you different examples, scenarios, the works, whatever you need. I can do all of that. That's not a problem at all. But I just wanted to give you an idea as to what's actually possible, how you can have high ticket, plus you can have your ad spend breaking even, plus you can have your monthly recurring revenue stacking up. And imagine you showed something like this to a client as well. Instantly, they understand it. Instantly, they get it. Now, remember, we can make all of this a reality by making it so simple and so straightforward using AI. AI can take care of the products for us, the sales funnels, the emails, literally everything. Imagine that. Imagine that entire process. Yet instead of you having to create the products or trying to think up different product ideas or wondering how you create products for clients, because it sounds great, right? You want to offer it to a client. You show that client those numbers, you want to offer it, right? But how do you do that? You can't be in their brain. You don't have hours to spend going through their content. What if you could take all of that away? You want to run it for your own lead generation, but you're not sure of how to create the products, what to create the products around, what they even look like. What if that could be taken away from you as well? What if you could have those products created extremely quickly, leveraging AI? Now, if you ask, or if you try to ask ChatGPT today, or Claude, or Gemini, whatever, to create a product for you right now to run in this funnel, it's not going to work. It's going to be generic. And if someone buys it from you, they're not going to be happy. And that's not the scenario you want to give, right? You want them to be happy. If you want powerful, custom, in-depth products at the click of a button that allow you to build your business on a solid foundation, you've got to stay dialed into this workshop. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to tap into specific booming niches, how to make money quickly out of it, and exactly how to put money in your pocket as fast as possible with a business that you can be proud of. On that note, I'll see you tomorrow. That wraps up this first day of this 3-day workshop. Any questions? Let me know in the comments below. These workshops are live for 24 hours. Then they're taken down to be replaced by the next day. So that gives you 24 hours if you want to rewatch this or whatever you please. You can do so to get yourself ready for tomorrow. We're going to dive in once again. But any questions you have, let me know, as I'll be on hand to help. I'll be active. I'll be ready to help you. Any questions you have with the processes, the opportunities, the spreadsheet, the everything, the forecast, anything that you need, let us know. And I'll see you tomorrow.